Check it out, guys. Getting the trailer packed up for the morning, and there are 3 elk right over there. The girl that checked me in to the campground said that their mamas are calving right now, and so be cautious because they're kind of mean. Yeah, we can add some elk to the list of animals that I've seen. All right, that makes 1, maybe 2 bears. I didn't see the second bear, but you guys saw the footage where the people were just parked on the side of the road like an idiot. But I saw 1 bear. I've seen 5 bighorn sheep and now 3 elk. So that is the animal total so far. All right, back to what I was doing, which was packing up the trailer. Just got the slide run in. Now I need to get the stabilizers put up and get everything hooked up. You can see the elk are just right over. Here's the view from the side of the trailer looking towards town. It's pretty, and not every tree in the campground burned in the fire. Some of them survived. But you can see the fire remnants on the mountain. All right, all packed up, ready to go. See if we can spot the elk. Zoom you guys in. Yeah, I don't know if you guys will be able to see the elk, but they are right over there. One of them is. The other one is over here somewhere. Cool. Leaving the campground. It's going to be a convoy of slow vehicles. That truck camper right up there is a Northern Light. That one's a rental. But if money were no object and I didn't have a ton of debt already, that's what you would see me rocking around in. Sign back there that said, I think, sheep for the next 20 kilometers. So, I think that's what it said. Oh, gotta slow down. Yeah, it's pretty through here, north of Jasper. Very pretty. Driving through this valley north of Jasper here, and good grief, it is gorgeous. I would love to have just a small cabin in the woods in a place like this. Right, oh, construction ahead. Didn't see any of the animals that last sign was warning me about, which is unfortunate. But I've been seeing, and my mom's been letting me know about the posts on the Facebook groups about just how much wildlife is out and about on the Alaska Highway right now. Oh, never mind. Here's some sheepies. Excuse me. that was fun. I gotta remember to add two sheep to the list. I think those were females. To go along with the 5 males that I saw yesterday. And here's our construction zone. 30 miles an hour, 50 kilometers an hour. All right, let's see what else we get to see today. Here's the construction. Come around a corner and just wham! Big old mountain. All right, we are leaving the parks. Now the other side of Jasper, where I showed you guys the little Connex office, they used to have booths like this, but they obviously burned down in that fire a couple years ago. All right, no more national parks. We are gonna stop and get gas in Grand Cache, and then once again in Grand Prairie, and then head on up towards Dawson Creek, where we're staying once again at the Mile Zero campground, just like we did last year. We have turned on to Highway 40, headed up towards Grand Cache. It's the scenic route towards Alaska, is what the sign says. There's 3 horses there, but I'm not gonna count. I'm not gonna count horses on my animal spotting sheet. We're gonna be stuck behind a slow truck for the first time on the trip. I'll have to go back and look at my footage of the other times that I drove up, like last year. I might have gotten stuck behind a slow truck on this exact same part of the road. We'll have to see, but yep, he's hauling a big excavator there, so we're just gonna chill behind him for a while. All right, we're still behind him, but I don't really have to get up and go in this truck, towing this bigger trailer, to go around him. And we're doing close enough to the speed limit, so I'm just gonna draft off of him for a while, I think. I've seen a few of those signs now, and have yet to see any caribou. So we'll see if we actually see any along this stretch of the road. Just a few kilometers outside of Grand Cache, where we are going to stop and get some gas before pushing on to Grand Prairie. Alright, we got gas successfully. And we're just going to cruise on through the little town of Grand Cache here and keep on mushing. That mine up there. And get a better view of it as we get closer. But also look at how green it is. Aha! Oh, a sheep. Rocky Mountain sheep. Here's some more. Look at them all. I'm not gonna stop because there's a bunch of cars behind me. Yeah, a whole herd of Rocky Mountain sheep. All right, we're about to catch up to a line of vehicles up here. We are an hour and a half-ish away from Grand Prairie. Oh, look, it's an oil rig. Ooh, somebody lost a tire through here. There's a bunch of tire remnants floating about. Yeah, look at that. They're drilling for something. I guess this truck up here is pulling over to let us all by. There's a truck pulling a cargo trailer behind me, but you got like an earth roamer vehicle up there, and then this open range travel trailer, and then this Super Duty, and then me. I got quite the line going here. Alright guys, just got gas in Grand Prairie, skipping Costco this year because I looked at the parking lot and there's no way I'm taking a 30-foot RV into that parking lot. But I found my new favorite gas station in Grand Prairie, which is just a couple blocks north of where the Costco's at. Super easy to get in and out of there with my trailer. So we are pushing on towards Dawson Creek. We will be at the Mile Zero campground in just under an hour and a half. And we are driving into a little storm front. It's been raining off and on for most of the day. Well, I hope you guys are enjoying your last little bit of divided highway, because I'm not going to see divided highway again until I get into the valley in a couple thousand miles. We've made it to British Columbia. Continue on. We're about 45 minutes away from Dawson Creek and stop for the day. Sorry there hasn't been as much like scenic footage since we basically before Grand Prairie. It's just a lot of flat divided highway, not much going on. The rain's a little grumpy and there's been a lot of traffic, so I've been concentrating on driving rather than trying to film stuff. The scenic stuff will start up again once we get past Fort Nelson, basically. That's when you get into the gorgeous part of the Alaska Highway, and it is just absolutely awesome. So yeah, this part of Alberta is nice to drive through, but it's just not quite as scenic. So, and then like I said, lots of traffic means you got to pay more attention. There, I zoomed it out so it's not quite so in your face, my face in your face. So the plan when I get to Dawson Creek is I'm not going to stop at the sign when I first get there. We're going to drive by it, and then I'm going to go dump the trailer off at the Mile Zero campground. And then I'm going to go get gas and run a couple of errands in town, go see the sign without the trailer. So we'll see all that after I drop the trailer off at the campground. So don't have a panic attack when you see me pull in Dawson Creek and I'm like, hi sign, bye sign. I mean, granted, this is my 8th time making the drive, and then hopefully I'm gonna make it 2 more times this year, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I've seen the sign, so I don't feel the need to immediately stop and wave at the sign before driving even a millimeter on the Alaska Highway. So we're gonna take the trailer to the campground and drop it off, and then like I said, go get gas, maybe go find some dinner and go see the sign without the trailer, because it's just easier to navigate around without the trailer, and it only takes me 10 minutes to unhook it. So that's the plan. So we'll see you guys there. Meanwhile, here's what I'm jamming out to. I have not seen not a second of this movie, but for some reason this song just gets stuck in my head all the time. Here we are in Dawson Creek. Oh, the whole place is under construction in there. It looks like you can't even go up to the sign right now. We'll see when we go around, but yep, you can't walk up to the sign, but you can still go in the parking lot at least. Yeah. So we'll come back and check that out here in a bit. So here we are on the Alaska Highway once again. This is trip number 8. Here is the Mile Zero campground right here on the left. Pull in here, get all checked in and parked up. All right, we are site number 10 right here. All right, just gonna get all parked up and unhooked, and so I'll see you guys when I'm ready to head into town. All right, guys, we are all unhooked and headed back to look at the sign. Here we are for time number 8. Fortunately, this is as close as we can get to the sign because they are putting in a concrete plaza, it looks like. So they have this all cordoned off so you can't get to it, but here we are. Time number 8. Now, last night I did go over and meet some friends here in Dawson Creek. His old channel was 1968 Alaskan Sourdough. His new channel is called Alaskan Snowbirds, I think. I'll put the name up on the screen there. But spent some time visiting with them. It was super awesome to chat with them, meet them in person. Good to meet you guys. Not sure if we're gonna be traveling together today or not. There's some extenuating circumstances that I think means that we're gonna be traveling separate. We just happened to sync up here in Dawson Creek last night, so super fun. Anyway, like I said, I just got done putting water in the trailer, and now I'm gonna get all hitched up and ready to hit the road. All right, fam, we are on the move on the Alaska Highway. Next stop is going to be Pink Mountain Campsite for some fuel and some snacks, and then might be meeting up with the couple 1968 Sourdough Alaskan Snowbirds to travel together, but they had to go run some errands at Walmart, and I'm going to be going a bit slower than they can because he's got a big F450 pulling his fifth wheel, and I'm just in a little Tundra pulling a 30-foot bumper pole. So I think they're going to be able to catch up to me, but that's the plan for today. I'll bring you guys along. I will say that it's shaping up to be a glorious day. It did rain a little bit last night, and also I left one of the side compartments on my trailer open all night, so glad that nothing got ruined in there, but it didn't rain very hard. But it is 55 degrees Fahrenheit at just about 10 o'clock in the morning, and it looks like it's going to be a gorgeous day. Well, stop for construction, I think. Yeah, I just checked the map, and we are close to the top of the hill before you drop down to go over the bridge next to Taylor. And Google says that the traffic goes all the way down to the bridge, so we might be here for a while. They must have the road closed down by the bridge that goes over the Peace River, because there has been no traffic coming the other way either. We have moved a few hundred feet, but that's it so far. Well, we're moving again. Oh, look. Perfect timing. Construction started today. Expectedly 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. I mean, I don't begrudge the construction. It's just terrible timing on my part. And we're stopped. I'm actually gonna turn off my truck so that I'm just not wasting expensive gas idling this whole time. moving up pretty good now, but we might be stopping again. Big bump. Yeah, we're not even at the top of the big hill yet because the brake check area for the big hill is right up here. Oh, there's a traffic light. Okay, interesting. So we stop and wait for the traffic light to tell us to go. Wonder if the other end of the traffic light is all the way on the other side of the bridge. That would make more sense, because it's taking a while in between light cycles. So we'll see, I guess. All right, we made it through that light cycle. Yay. It looks like 3 trucks behind me got through and then they stopped. So I'm going to stick you guys up on the dashboard so we can see what's going on. Alright, so they are letting two-way traffic go down through here. Old Taylor Hill here. Got it geared down into first, trying not to ride my brakes the whole way down. I already know that when I go back to Utah in August, I'm probably going to need to replace the brake rotors on this truck, because they are getting a little shuddery. Yep, we are first gear chilling going down the road here. I thought maybe this construction was for the bridge, but it looks like they are probably widening the road coming up through here. Doing something on the road over there, fixing it, patching it. And over here they might be widening it, getting ready to widen it a little bit on the left. There's the group of cars going the other way. Man, a lot of these oversized loads right here. That's, I think, the 5th one that I've seen. They just look like big dumpsters. I don't know what they are. Oh, there's a big pothole. Oh, big old pothole. Alright, we're at the bottom of the Taylor Hill. Gonna go up and over the bridge. It's one of the old metal decked bridge. I'll have to look up and see if they're planning on replacing this bridge at some point. Seems like Canada is replacing most of these metal decking bridges on the Alaska Highway. Ooh, that RV was dirty. Hope I'm not going wherever that one came from, although my trailers are likely to get disgusting through the construction zones north of Destruction Bay. Just have to deal with it, I suppose. Alright, this is the other end of the traffic lights. We got more oversized loads going through. Good for them. And we're through the construction. Look at the line of construction here. Construction traffic. It is going to be zero fun for this area for the next few days. I think I'm going through it only once. bit more construction. Got us a traffic light truck. Yeah, I'm just gonna follow this propane truck for a minute. Fortunately, this construction wait was not very long. Not nearly as long as the other one over at Taylor. There's snow on the mountains up there. Pink Mountain, 2 kilometers. Where we'll be getting gas. We successfully got gas at Pink Mountain. Chatted with the guy for a bit because they reconfigured their parking lot entrance, and he said it was not his idea. The province came in and did it for him. But they're always super friendly there. Gas was very expensive. It was like $5.20 a gallon, I want to say, after I did the conversion. Still not as expensive as California, from what I understand, but yeah, that's unpleasant gasoline totals, especially when you're only getting 7 miles to the gallon. So, yep. Anyway, we got just over 2 hours to Fort Nelson, where we will get gas again, and then we will push on to somewhere past Fort Nelson. Haven't quite decided yet. Also, we've got what I call Toy Story clouds in the sky today. So it's just been a absolutely gorgeous day. All right, I might not look it, but this is pretty steep. We're going down the hill towards Sakani Chief down here. My truck's geared down to 3rd gear. It's screaming down and 4,000, 4,100 RPMs. Still got 2,000 RPMs until red line, so I'm not even gonna touch the brakes. Whew. That's like Beaver Slide steep on the Dalton. That's a steep grade back there. And we got one more coming up here, which is it doesn't say what the percentage is. But I think that was, oh, it's 9% grade. Whew. All right, we made it down to the Sakani River, Sakani Chief River. Can't remember what it's, I think it's just Sakani River, actually. Yeah, there's a RV park and campground here. I have no idea if it's even open for business, but it exists. Anyway, now we got a fun climb back up the other side. All right, guys, we're about to go by Bucking Horse River, but we're gonna start seeing the burn scar from the fires. If you remember my video from driving up last year, where I talked about the fires that burned through here that had the highway closed off and on all summer long. Fortunately, they were pretty much under control by the time I drove through here in June. We're gonna start seeing the burn scars through here. Fortunately, as far as I am aware, there are no active fires near the highway so far this year. So let's cross our fingers that that remains the case for the entire summer. All right, guys, stopped at this pull out for a stretch break and a bathroom break. You can see there's still a little bit of snow on the mountains over there. Month or so, that all that snow would be gone, but there's still some there. So I imagine we're gonna run into some as we head up the highway over the higher elevations. You can also see the burn scar from the fire. Yeah, here's the rest of the just a little garbage pull out that BC puts these in occasionally. I wish they had them more frequently than they do, but at least they do have them occasionally. The Yukon has pullouts all over the place, which is really nice. Yeah, there's the trailer. I've been stopping to check the tires on the trailer just to make sure they all look good. And there's the truck, a little squatty in the back, but not nearly as bad as it was with the Micro Mini last year, so I'm happy about that. And yeah, gonna keep going that way. Still gotta get to Fort Nelson. It's our next stop for gas. All right, fam, we are about 10 minutes outside of Fort Nelson, and I just saw my first bear. Unfortunately, don't have any footage of it because I wasn't holding the camera, and I'm not running the dashboard camera this trip. But yeah, we're so far I've seen one bear. I saw a moose earlier today. So that's our animal count so far for today. There's one bear and one moose. Here we are in Fort Nelson. So fuel has been successfully obtained. I'm not staying in Fort Nelson. It's only 5 o'clock. I want to drive for another couple of hours. So we're gonna keep going. Apparently we have to watch for fallen rocks. Reminds me of a joke I used to tell on the buses. Some minor bridge washing and bison on the highway. Oh, and look, caribous on that side as well. So this is where the Alaska Highway really becomes the remote highway that I love. Once you get past Fort Nelson, this is when the highway becomes really remote, and I just love it. So looking forward to the next couple of days of driving this section of the highway. You still see a lot of the remnants of the fire from a couple of years ago when they evacuated the town. Was it a couple of years ago or was it last year? I can't remember. I'll have to put it up on the screen, but see, there's already some growth going on back there in the trees. So it might have been 2 years ago, because that's a lot of new growth if it was just last year. So forest is starting to bounce back, which is good. That's what you want to see. See if this is an animal. It might be. Or if it's a bush. Is it a bear? If so, this would be bear the second that I've seen today. It is a bear. Stop and get you guys a look if you'll cooperate. Going back there in the trees. Hi, Mr. Bear. And it's gone. So like I said, that's the second bear that I've seen today. I didn't have the camera out for the first one, but I think I mentioned it in an earlier clip. There was a black bear right next to the road. So I'll have to put that in my little tally book of animals. Yet another black bear. At least that one I got on camera for you because I was paying attention. The first one I saw coming, but I was like, what is that? Is that a bear? Because my animal spotting reactions are not up to snuff right now. So my bus driver animal spotting skills have atrophied a little bit. So I was like, is that a bear? Yeah, it was, but by the time I realized that's what it was too late to grab the camera. So at least I got this one for you guys. Alright guys, we are slowly but surely starting the climb up towards Steamboat Summit, which is not the highest point on the highway, but it's pretty close. And then we're gonna pop down into the Tetsa River Provincial Park, or it could be Municipal Park, I don't know. But there's a Tetsa River Park where I'm gonna see if there's any decent looking campsites for the night. So that's the plan. Let's see what happens as my Tundra struggles to pull this trailer up Steamboat Summit here. Speed limit drops to 80 kilometers an hour, which is about 50 miles an hour, and we begin the big climbs. You can tell we're climbing. 200-degree water coolant temperature. The transmission pan is at 215 degrees and the torque converter is at 244. And this is with an aftermarket transmission cooler installed that's bigger than the stock one that used to come with the Tundra. This, in 2018, Toyota actually removed the transmission cooler from the Tundra. So this one's a 2019, so it didn't come with one. But I re-added it because all they did to the transmission was put in a plug where the thermostat was. So all you have to do is remove that plug, re-add the thermostat, re-add the piping, and add a cooler. So I did all of that before I drove up to Alaska in 2023. So this is the temperature with the external cooler, which the aftermarket cooler I put in is bigger than the stock one that used to come on these. So just imagine how hot this fluid temperature would get without that. That's one reason why I added it. Anyway, we are slowly making our way up to the summit here, and my truck can't decide what gear it wants to be in, so I'm gonna force it down. Oh boy, this is like 5 seconds after. Oh, it used to be an old roadhouse there, it looks like. But this is like 5 seconds later, and we're gonna catch up to these trucks in a minute, so we're gonna be going a lot slower as we climb the summit. Alright, we are down to first gear, 20 miles an hour, climbing steamboat behind these trucks. So the summit's right over there, and you can see even in front of our trucks, the 3 trucks in front of me, there's another tandem truck up there with a truck and trailer stuck behind it. So just one of these things. This is not the first time this has happened to me climbing steamboat. So now there's a job that I wouldn't mind, is being an RV transporter, taking RVs up to Alaska, I assume, because I think that's a Pennsylvania license plate on that trailer. So I assume he's taking those up to Alaska. That would be a fun job. Anyone want to loan me the 10 grand I need to upgrade my CDL from a Class B to a Class A? Just let me know. I'll give you my PayPal. Alright, we're going to pull off up here and take a stretch break and see the sights before we head on down the other side. Alright guys, here's the view from Steamboat, just on the phone. I left my DJI in the car, but here I'll show you guys the signs. This actually isn't the greatest viewing spot for views. It's just kind of the top of the highway, but I accidentally missed the spot with the good views, unfortunately. Letting the truck cool down a bit. I left it running and locked the door with my spare key, so that way I could get out and get a stretch break, but I didn't want to just shut it off and let that transmission fluid stay boiling hot. Well, I walked around and used the long drops. So the truck is still running over there actually. I just locked the door with my spare key, like I said. So, not a bad spot. Come over here and look at these signs really quick. That's just information about the Alcan. Building of the highway. Safe travels. Getting to know the Northern Rockies. The trucks that I followed over there.
They were working on this rest area for a while. I can't remember if it was last year on the way up or in 2023 when they were kind of rebuilding this whole area here. Yeah, we are up. And nothing on this side except a buffalo in the wintertime. Look at the frost on his beard. Cool. Alright, the campground that I want to go to is 15 minutes from here, so let's go check it out. Alright, headed down the other side of Steamboat now. Hey look, speed limit's back up to 100 kilometers an hour. So it's just going to be down, down, down until we get down to the river bottom where we're going to check out the campground. I did get out and check while I was out walking around after the footage of the signs. Checked all the tires and looked at the suspension for the trailer. I did check the air pressure on one of the trailer tires because it looked a little low, but the air pressure was where it should be. So everything's looking good so far. Now, if you remember, I mentioned that I was kind of traveling along a little bit with 1968 Alaskan sourdough, but they decided to stay in Fort Nelson tonight, and I decided I wanted to push on a little bit further, so they're staying at the Triple G or Double G Hideaway, and I am kind of tired of staying in developed campgrounds like that, so I'm going to go down to a provincial park, which will feel a little bit more rustic. Oh look, a bear! Another bear! You guys can see that through the windshield there, through the glare, but there's a black bear right there. Hopefully you guys were able to see that. But yeah, they decided to stay in Fort Nelson, so I am pushing on by myself, but it's only 6:15, and I think I'm ready to call it a day. Hopefully you guys can see that view out there. We are headed that way into the most gorgeous part of the Alaska Highway tomorrow. Alright, we're going to be turning off right up here. Oh, it says vacancy. We'll go down in there and see. I've never stayed at this campground, so this will be a new one. Tutsa River Campground Regional Park. It's like a nicely graded road. So not gonna be too tough to get my big old trailer down in here. Ooh, this is quite the little downhill through the forest here. There's a number of private properties and look like Canadian federal government properties back there. Building a big old gravel pit that looks like it would have been nice to camp in, but it was all gated off with Jersey barriers. Yeah, and something also came along and has wet this road down recently, so there's no dust to speak of. Yeah, let's just mosey on down here and see what there is to see. Alright guys, it's a nice little campground, but there isn't really any spots big enough for this trailer and truck, so we're gonna head on back out towards the highway. Kind of place I would like to stay here. I'm gonna have to put it on my list, maybe on my trip back in August, hopefully. Maybe I'll try and sleep down here in my truck. Alright, we're gonna get back up here to where I can pull off and look at iOverlander and see if there's another likely spot that looks like I want to go park up for the night. Alright, new plan. We're gonna go see if the Tutsa River Lodge is open, because they have a campground there. And I hear really good cinnamon buns. We'll go stay there, because I've never stayed there. I think in my video last year when I was talking about the fires, I talked about the Tutsa River Lodge and how they had to evacuate and they thought the lodge might burn down. But fortunately it's there, and once again, it's another spot that I've never stayed, because normally I'm blowing right through this area because I'm trying to get up closer towards Muncho. But I don't have to be in quite as much of a hurry this year, so I'm gonna stop a little earlier than I normally would. Even though there's plenty of daylight, driving daylight left. But don't have to be in quite as much of a hurry because I built a couple of extra days into my schedule. So let's go see if we can stay at a new spot for me, which is the Tetsa River Lodge. It's only like 15 minutes up the highway from here. All right, well, bad news. The Tetsa River Lodge is closed. They're not open for the season yet. So I'm gonna have to find a place to pull off up here so I can figure out the next plan. That's the fun part about the Alaska Highway, is gotta be flexible. All right, guys, we are parked up for the night. I ended up driving back to this pullout that's right next to the Tetsa River campground entrance, because I didn't want to go back down into the campground because I don't think my trailer, after I drove through both loops, I don't think my trailer would fit in any of the sites. But this seems to be a good little pullout, although it is right next to the highway, so you can hear highway noise. Those motorcycles going by. But that's fine. I have camped next to highways before, so it's not a big deal. This place was not level at all. Like, I parked the trailer in several spots and just could not find a good level spot. But let me kind of show you around the little parking lot here. So you might not be able to see because I think the sun is blowing out the picture, but that's the entrance right over there. And then the trailer is way back there. I first tried to park it right here. You can see I don't know if you can see those little divots in the ground there, but the ground is really soft right there, so I couldn't get it level. If you look at the trailer versus my truck, you can see how off level the truck is versus the trailer. Sorry for the highway noise once again. But there's not really a good level spot. That's about the most level spot I could find, and I still had to put the trailer up on 3 of these links levelers, which maxes out the number of links levelers that I have. But I ran it up on a stack of 3 right there, and you can see the ground slopes away back there, so I had to double stack the cheap Walmart things to get the stabilizer down there, and I still up front almost had to max out the stabilizers up here. This spot's not super level side to side. Now front to back was almost perfectly level. I had to raise it like maybe a half an inch or less, maybe a quarter of an inch like that. I barely pushed up on the front jack there, and it leveled it front to back. But the side to side was a bit of a pain, and it's still not perfectly level. It still needed to come up a little bit, but it's maybe a quarter of an inch off level, which is fine. I felt fine running the slide out with it like that. But you can see we were backed up next to this little stream down here. I don't know if this is the Tetsa River or not. It might be. But I don't think it is. I think the Tetsa River is down that way. This is just a little stream that kind of feeds it. So it'll be some good ASMR if I want to leave the windows open tonight, which I might, because it was pretty toasty. There used to be a beaver dam down there, but it looks like it either failed or got taken out at some point. Let me see if I can zoom it in for you guys. Yeah, that's as much zoom as we can get, but you can kind of see that I think there used to be a beaver dam down there. So it probably was flooded up to this area at some point. But when that failed, it's now back down to the little stream. So it either failed or it was
was taken out. But you can see here actually signs of the beavers. See how they kind of chew off the trees and the pointy stumps there. You can see they did it all over there, and you can kind of see where the water used to be up here on that side. But no more beaver pond here. However, there is a little 2-track that kind of goes off into the woods. I don't think that this is anybody's property. There is some private property down the campground way. So I tried not to park in the way of this little 2-track here. But I thought I might wander down here and see what there is to see down this little 2-track, if there's anything interesting. I locked the trailer. So let's go see what there is to see. Now, there are some wheeler tracks here, but I don't know how fresh they are. Thought I heard a car coming for a minute. See, somebody went through here. So I don't know if camping is technically allowed in this little pullout, but it's all I could find because I couldn't fit my trailer in any of the spots down in the campground. And the lodge was closed when I got there. They're not closed for the season, they were just closed for the day, so I was too late. Here's some small animals in the woods. Yeah, let's keep going. Oh, okay. This little path just dumps out into the access road for the campground and the properties that are down that way. So I think we're good. See, that's the entrance over there. So I drove down this twice earlier. So that's just a little side track there. So I think we're gonna be perfectly fine where we're at. It's not a driveway to anywhere. Yeah. It's gorgeous. Love British Columbia, love the Yukon. Don't love Alberta so much, except when you're in Jasper. When you're in the Rockies, it's great. When you're out on the flats, it's boring and windy. So love the Canadian Rockies part of Jasper, but other than that, or the Canadian Rockies part of Alberta, but other than that, I can take it or leave it. Northern British Columbia here into the Yukon. Driving the Outcan is just my favorite thing. So rather than walk back down that 2-track, we'll just take the road. See, somebody's been putting in a trail there. I think we're fine to stay where we're at. There was no signage or anything. Like I said, that doesn't look like somebody's driveway, so I think we're good. Hey, there's even a garbage can here that I didn't notice earlier, so I don't have any garbage to get rid of. But if I did, there's a garbage can there. Ooh, I can smell it now too. Let's walk out here and look at the sun going down. It was pretty hot. So I opened up a few of the windows in the trailer and put some shorts on. But I think it's gonna cool off pretty good tonight. See how many mosquito bites I got just from this little jaunt through the woods. It's fine. I need to start building up my mosquito tolerance, and if I got bit, then the itchiness will keep me awake while I drive. See, here's the entrance into the little parking lot, and there's the truck and trailer down there. Here's the Alaska Highway. There's a dumpster. Here's a sign that has an arrow pointing that way, but no other details other than
Oh, it looks like it was a for sale sign because it says MLS on it. Something was for sale down there. Don't know if it still is. Feel free to look up the BC Fort Nelson area MLS if you're interested. Yeah, you can see people have been riding their side-by-sides, their wheelers, up and over there, and then down into there, and then down. You can actually see down there by the trailer where they were crossing the creek down there. Now let's keep going. I'm not done walking around. I've been sitting in the car for 4 days. Yeah, there really isn't anything to see out that way. I don't have any bear spray or anything. And you know how Canada is about the other bear defense options. So I'm feeling a little underprepared for wandering around the woods right now. But yeah. It's the Alaska Highway at sunset. I'm gonna take a photo of that, I think. So that way is towards Fort Nelson. So that's the way we came. And then this is the way that we need to go tomorrow morning. It's the way I already went and then came back. So I burned about 5 gallons of fuel going out there and then coming back, but it is what it is. Hopefully Toad River has gas so I can get gas tomorrow. But yeah, nice little spot. All right, I'm walking back towards the trailer because I caught a few really big skeeters becoming very interested in me. So I'm gonna go hide in the trailer and relax. And I've got semi-decent Starlink. It's getting a little bit interrupted by the trees that I'm parked next to, but it's good enough to do some streaming and just kind of relax for the rest of the evening. So with that, I will see you guys in the morning.